Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at 20 different preparedness and survival uses for a shemagh. Alright everybody, welcome back. Now I'm kind of late to the party with this video because I've used these for a while, but I've never done a video on them. Shemaghs can be an incredibly useful piece of gear, and it's often an overlooked survival item. They're deemed popular in the survival tactical community. You've seen a lot of people in the Middle East using them. A lot of our soldiers use them. They have a ton of different uses, so we're going to get into that in a second. But they're also a popular choice for people who live in the Middle East. Now, they have a lot more purpose than just keeping the sun and, off your head and the dust out of your eyes or mouth. It is a helpful characteristic of them, but they have so many more uses than that. In fact, this one item is in every single one of my everyday carry bags and bug out bags for that reason. Where we are here, we do sometimes get these ridiculous dust storms. The wind will kick up and they call them haboobs. And tossing this over your head and around your mouth the right way, you can keep that stuff out of your eyes and out of your face. So in no particular order, here are some 20 common and less than common uses for shemagh. Now before we begin with the uses, I did forget to thank Plan B Survival and Preparedness. They supplied me with this one. And as you can see, it's kind of cool. It's a reel right out of Pakistan. There's the dude's email right there. mansuat.alabar@yahoo.com. So that's kind of an authentic, this is the real deal. So let's get into the first one. First thing is an improvised sling if your arm becomes injured. This can be folded in a way that you can put it around your arm and keep your arm stabilized in a sling. And that's a real handy item to have. So you don't always carry a triangular bandage or a sling for that matter. But something like this in your everyday carry gear or your bug out gear or car kit can turn one into it immediately. Next up is a makeshift compression bandage for heavy cuts or gashes. This can be folded in a ton of different ways. And you can fold it up like that and wrap it around tight, say any kind of injury, and put pressure on the wound itself instead of using it like a tourniquet. Another use is a makeshift tourniquet. If things go farther south with an injury, you can place this above wherever the injury is on your arm or your leg or wherever and tie it. And generally I've seen people use a stick or a rod or something to get that extra torque down to stop the flow of blood. Next up, an improvised splint wrap. Let's face it, how many people carry a splint or a splint wrap with them everywhere they go? They don't. So you can get yourself 2 sticks or 2 pieces of metal or whatever, immobilize the injured limb, and wrap this around it to keep the splint in place. It's going to hurt when you do that. Don't get me wrong. It's going to hurt the person you're wrapping, but it's also going to be able to immobilize the limb and get them to some kind of medical treatment. Now this next one's pretty common sense, a sweat towel. You've got this around your neck, you're sweating like crazy, you use it as a towel and wipe it off. So that's a handy use for it. I've used this in situations where I clean my glasses because I'll be outside sweating and the sweat will get on my glasses or in my eyebrows or whatever. Works really, really good for that. All right, this is a pretty common one, and generally we use our handkerchiefs for this. You get a handkerchief in your kit or a bandana, but this can be used as a water pre-filter. Now, I would say if you've used it as a sweat towel and everything else, not to use it as that. Give it a good washing. And I plan on washing this because this is brand new and I don't know about the dyes or the chemicals or whatever used in the manufacture of this, but it would make an excellent water pre-filter. You can take this and, even double it and triple it up and set it up where you pre-filter it that way. You're pouring your water in here and little drips are coming out here. You've got a bunch of different layers filtering it. So to get the sediment out, awesome tool. All right, next up, be able to wrap items contained within your backpack. You can keep breakable items safe with this. I'm going to give you a good example here. This is a copper coil alcohol stove I made years ago. I think the video has like 2 million hits on it. But something like this is in a glass bell jar. Not ideal for a backpack, right? Well, if you have to carry something like this, you can take this and wrap it up. Say cross wrap it over like that and protect it from anything else that's going to bang around in there, and it won't get damaged. Now, this is probably one you've probably heard of, a cooling cloth. You soak this in water and you wrap it around your neck. Definitely works. I have used that in the past when I'm out shooting on really, really hot days out at the range. Oh man, what a difference. I'll tell you, the water gets hot and you'll need to soak more water on it. But even with warm water, this will cool you off a few degrees. Now next up, the one we all think of, the neck, face, and head wrap. Pretty much all the same. You can put it around you and keep your eyes, your head protected, whatever, from any kind of dust or debris in the area. I don't remember seeing anybody use these, in demolition areas or something like that, so I wouldn't suggest you use it as a permanent thing, but as an emergency type thing, if you're in an area where a building has collapsed or there's a fire or whatever, definitely a way to keep that out of your mouth and nose. While it won't cover all of you, it can be used as a small blanket. Give you additional warmth when you're sleeping. If you're sleeping outside in some kind of emergency, if you can wrap up a small child in it, or even use this as a child or an infant's blanket, definitely work for that. And keep you a little bit warmer than, say, nothing at all. All right, one more thing, and well, you have it unfolded here, is a signal flag. It can help you be found in a distress situation. You can take this, you can wrap it onto a piece of wood and wave it. It can be seen. This one happens to have a little bit of metallic, I don't know if you can see it in there, shininess that would catch the sun. Not all of them have that. And it's a little bit darker than most, but still with the white tassels on the end and the light colors, you'll definitely be seen with that. You can even put this out on the ground over some snow or in somewhere where it's a wilderness situation where you need to be rescued, and someone would see it and probably know you're there. All right, this is probably the most popular one that we all know of, the headdress to keep the sun off of your head. Yeah, you can fold it up in a turban. But it does work, and it does keep the sun off your head. For those of you guys and who are bald, something like that will really protect your scalp. You definitely don't want to have it out there in the beating sun for too long, and it can be folded up. Don't ask me how to do that. That's for another video, and I am going to practice that. I do not know the correct way. There's some way to do it where you fold it up, and then you fold it a little bit more, and then you fold this section over, and something like that. But I'm going to have to look that up for you. I'm just not particularly skilled in that because I've never worn it on my head. I've used it for a ton of other stuff, but I've never worn it as a headdress. Now, here's something that I kind of mentioned before, but this is kind of different because you can use this in a industrial situation as a blockade from dust or debris. If you're in a situation, if you're in a room where you're going to have that kind of stuff going on near you, say somebody's doing construction next door, this can be hung up like that. You can hang this up over your door or over your window or whatever, and it will block out the dust and debris while allowing some air to flow through. I've seen people even use these over window AC units. If they have the side sliding windows that don't close all the way, they'll put it in and they'll hang this over and tape it to the bottom. So it allows the exchange of air, but it doesn't allow any of the dust or debris to get inside. Here's one even I didn't think about, an improvised pillow. Now, you're not going to get, the incredible head support from it, but it will give you somewhere to rest your head. It can be folded up. It's big enough where you can fold that up and give you some head or neck support while you're sleeping somewhere. I have actually used this in, where was it? In an airport, I believe, where I was able to fold this up and put it against the wall, and I had something to rest my head on. And no, I didn't put it on my head and go through security. But it definitely will make an awesome little improvised pillow. Now, if you have two of these, and you're using one as a pillow, the other one could be used for a ground cloth. You got to sit or lay somewhere that's kind of dirty. Now, it's not huge. So, me at 6'1", I'm not going to be able to lie down on that. You can see how big it is. That's good representation for you there. But it will keep my back, or maybe where I'm sitting, clean from any kind of dust and debris on the floor or the ground or dirt or mud or whatever. It'll give you a little bit of a barrier. Of course, it's going to get wet, but it's not going to insulate you. It will keep you from getting dirty, not dry. Now, another great thing for this is making a hunting and gathering sack. Good example would be saying gathering tinder. There is a way, and again, this is something I'm going to have to practice. I do know it exists. I kind of have an idea how to do it, but you can turn this into a nice little bowl. Nothing you'd eat out of, but something you'd be able to go around and gather stuff with. Worst comes to worst, you don't have time to practice that. You can just fold it up like this, pick up your sides, pick up your top like this, and stuff your tinder or whatever you're gathering in there, and it will hold it for you. Now, here's one we've probably seen in cartoons when we were younger, the old hobo with the stick and the rag tied up. Here's something that you can do with it that's kind of neat if you open it up big enough. And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I'm taking this, my Kuxa, and a stove, and I don't have the fuel with me, but let's say we have a fuel can in there. You fold it all up like this, you tie it up, and you have yourself a backpack or butt pack when you tie it properly, or you could just tie it onto a stick and carry it. We've all seen those those pictures of somebody carrying a stick with a thing tied to the end of it. It's going to make some noise if you've got some things dangling around in there, but it's definitely a way to carry stuff. And it's big enough so you can put a good deal of stuff in there and carry it around. Now here's something I bet people didn't think about, is a shelter or a shade in the sun. If you're out hiking somewhere and you get lost and you don't have a tent with you because maybe you just took your day pack and you're just going out for a bit, you can put up a ridge line and you can put this out across and at least give you a little protection from the sun and the heat. You know, it's not huge, but it's going to be able to set up a little bit of a shelter to keep the sun off you and keep the heat off you. So that's a pretty neat use for it that I really never thought about. And I bet you other people haven't thought about it too, but it definitely can work like that. And while we're on the uncommon uses of it, you could use it as a self-defense tool. You could wrap it up, use it as somewhat of a whip to keep something back, a wild animal. Or, if worse comes to worse, you can get a rock or something, stick it in there, tie it up, and use it as a self-defense tool against any kind of two-legged or four-legged creatures that might attack you in the wilderness. I definitely wouldn't want to get hit with that. And lastly, probably a very simple idea, use it as a pot holder so you don't burn yourself. I've seen people carry all these little things to clip on the side of pans or pots. I've seen people take, oven mitts, something like this, just as easily. Pick that up, take it with you, move it around wherever you're going. Now, if you're going to be near a fire, I would suggest folding it like this on the end, so none of these tassels that are hanging around will catch. But as a general rule, that's just too easy. And you can fold it up and make multiple layers. So you definitely won't get burned by a pot. And if it does do any kind of damage to it, hey, better that than your hand, if it melts it or any way. But these are pretty much made of cotton, I believe. Cotton, and they won't melt on you like some kind of polyester or synthetic. So, real simple item, real simple way to do that, and doesn't cost much either. These run, anywhere from, I know there's expensive ones, but I've seen them run like, $3 to $4 on places. So, that's pretty much it for the day. Definitely a lot of different survival uses. If you can think of others, put them down in the comments below, because this definitely isn't all of them. There's tons more uses for this. The more unique, the better. The more strange, the better. So definitely a lot of uses for it, and it definitely belongs in your gear in some way, shape, or form. I mean, even if you're not going to wear it or use it like that, there's tons of other uses for it. You can just toss this in a bag. It weighs next to nothing, and it can help save your life, possibly, in some kind of survival situations. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to click that bell if you want to be notified every time I put up a video. I don't have a set schedule. I usually put them up whenever I'm free, and I do work from home, so I get a lot of opportunity to throw up videos. And don't forget to check out our Amazon link down below. I don't have a link to a specific Shemagh on Amazon because there's so many of them. So just click that link straight through and find one if you want. It really helps out the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If there's nothing in the store you like, just click the link and shop as you normally would using the search bar on top of Amazon. And it really helps out the channel a whole lot. Don't forget to check out our Thrive Life link if you're interested in getting started in some freeze-dried food. There's nothing to join. If you don't want to join up anything, you just go there, click, and purchase. It's not some kind of club that you have to join. You can buy whatever you want off the site. And don't forget to check out our Olight link, too. There's lots of specials coming up from Olight, so check them out. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.